So yeah, I mean, originally we were gonna present characters, even if that might take the whole time we have left.
But let's present the characters, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I could pass these out. I'll do that. Make funnies.
All right. Let's see.
Do you guys? Do you make the characters, or the characters are part of the game?
We kind of we consulted with him because it's a new game with a new milieu. So we talked last episode about the kinds of characters we'd like to play, and so there's been a sort of interplay between Spencer doing arguably probably the hardest, most joyless work of rolling our characters.
Yeah, but the guys like that love that shit.
I hate it.
I love it.
It took me about a combined 16 hours for all of these. It was not...
Yeah, you got something to do. Great. All right.
That's true, though. I was actually at work not doing anything during those 16 hours.
But you love doing it. You get joy from it, right? This doesn't work.
I mean, happens at some point in the equation, sure. There's joy. There was joy.
So, David, what it is so there'll be different races you can choose from, or...
It's a pencil, Dan.
Or wizards or hackers or whatever it is. So we all...
Yeah, I made folders for everyone. There's a lot of bullets in this game, so you really need to be marking your own inventory and
I would say the thread that the pencil is attached to is really above and beyond.
Yeah. That's because you guys are going to lose them.
I feel like I'm at a bank.
I don't want to lose these things.
No, thank you.
You'd take them home otherwise or something. I don't know.
No, this is...
I can't just buy pencils every day.
That's great. So let's talk about these guys.
Yeah, let's...
Can we start with my guy?
Yeah, do you know about your guy? I actually sent you an email about him. I don't know if you read it.
Oh, yeah.
I read mine.
Yeah.
No, so assume I didn't read it.
Okay, well, I'll just pull up this email I sent you. All right.
What email address did you send it to? Do not say that.
It's KaranReboot@AOL.com.
All right, well,
it's your new gimmick. You're the Yakov Smirnoff of...
I'm really pushing for the rewrite of the Quran. That's my stance.
So if you haven't read yours, let's not start with yours. Let's start with Dan or something.
Dan or something?
And then I could do it. I could read it, but not the first one. Let Dan start off.
If I have wait, you want me to what?
Tell us about your character. Don't read your sheet. It's about your background and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I just want to ask this because my character, it feels like he's I don't know how much stuff the other people should know, but. Do you think I should just let it all out?
Yeah,
let it all out.
They're skilled professionals. I think if anything you say that's secret, they can pretend is secret.
Okay, so my character was born James Gundrum III in Wisconsin in 2034, and his dad was a prominent member of the anti-meta-human hate group, Humanitas
Populi. I think.
What was it? Poly
Populi.
They're like kind of a Ku Klux Klan of when people started turning into elves and stuff. There was a
fun.
human. But the uplifting thing is that black people could be in this group and hate goblins. It was great. It's just when you think you're gonna achieve everything, it's fine. It's a whole new way to hate people. So my dad was he was a founding member, kind of a thug, an arsonist, assassin within that group. He taught me how to fight and how to be scrappy, but also I was smart and I could talk, so they thought, let's send him to the academy to be a Lone Star officer. Lone Star is like sort of a police force that services a lot of the city-states in the future, and like maybe he could like eventually be a politician or something, and he could make our horrible racist cause like law.
Put it into legislation, yeah.
And then I went to school and I fell in love with an elf girl. And then like I begged my dad to like reconsider his ways, but he couldn't. And as I was attempting to flee the state with her, she was killed under mysterious circumstances. And I blamed my father for it and signed on with the Lone Star Security Services under the condition that my dad would be among those put away when I infiltrated this horrible hate group. And so I did all that. And then because I needed my identity wiped because I betrayed everybody I knew at that job, then I just became this horrible, the government just used me and sent me to every city and made me change my name every time and taught me how to do that. And I would just narc on like Shadowrunners, like in every city. And then I found out my dad didn't actually kill my girlfriend. Like I think actually the cops did to make me available for that employment opportunity.
Because you're such a good cop.
Well, because they were like, boy, this guy's going to be amazing if we just kill his girlfriend.
Give him the right motivation.
He's his family's so racist, he'll think this is not a 7-10 split. I don't know what the opposite of that is. Remember, I'm from Wisconsin.
Okay, so it's all bowling analogies.
Yeah.
I like it.
So then I was betrayed by the people that owned me, and like they used me to do shitty stuff. I was like a narc, and I believed in it, and now I don't believe in it. And so I had to escape with my life because they were going to kill me. And I used the only identity I had that no one knew about, which was a generic identity pulled from like a textbook in the academy. So my name is Jim Knightblade. A former cop trapped in the life of the crime he used to fight.
That's a pitch.
Motherfucker, everything I do is a pitch. What if this microphone had to hang out with an anti-phone?
Okay, great. Aaron.
I don't know why I affected an urban dialect.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anti-phone?
I found that email, Spencer. It must have gone into my spam, but I have it and I can read it. But you guys go first.
So, Spencer, you came up with all the stuff, right?
No, he came up with his. Aaron came up with her backstory, and then I came up with Demorge and Kumail's backstory because, yeah.
Not nerds.
This is fascinating. I've never seen anything from this side where you're telling the story and people are like, oh. Like the thing when you said I found out my dad didn't kill my girlfriend. Or no, when you said my dad killed my girlfriend, there were people here who were like, oh.
Yeah, but you've seen that's just the power of like an audience's grace when they're like, oh, we trust you and know you. Like you listen.
That was honest. That wasn't. There was nothing.
When you listen to Prairie Home Companion, like Garrison Keillor goes like, and then the blueberry pie had a boopa doopa doo, and everyone
Joe
goes like,
went
ah!
fishing for the first time in 6 months.
It's called Stockholm syndrome. If I don't like my coffee this morning, Munich's gonna go bad. Okay.
The line
out to
was
your
drawn.
Ubers. If we're not gonna have a
Out to your Ubers.
Out to your Ubers. All right, so my character is named Mercy O'Donnell, and I'll just read the short email that I sent Spencer earlier today.
It's a historical hostage event. Well within my right to use that to illustrate. Sorry. I made a movie about it for kids.
Yeah, Munich was for kids.
All right, this is Mercy O'Donnell. Former publicist for Ares Macro Technology and ex-wife of its CEO, Damian Knight, Mercy O'Donnell is a madam for megacorporations and the underground alike. 2 years ago, Mercy left her husband after he beat their teenage son to death in an argument. When she fled, Ares macrotechnology manipulated evidence at the scene, and the corporate court charged Mercy with the murder. As a madam, Mercy, so she's on the run. As a madam, Mercy works almost exclusively with magic users who may or may not procure payment without quote-unquote natural sexual services rendered. Regardless, her Johns always leave happy. With a name that is always changing, she is known by her many contacts as the Eyes, because I have the best face ever is the thing that was established before. I'm looking at David
And you're
Cross.
a hooker. You're a prostitute?
No. No, I'm a madam, but I work mostly with magic users. So I work mostly with people who are
What does
able...
madam mean?
What is a madam?
Like a prostitute king?
Yeah, like a prostitute king. King of all the prostitutes. That's true.
Like the first conversation between the worst representatives of an indigenous and an invading population. That's their Tatanka.
In a way.
How do whores work? I was like, you need a king of whores? Yes.
Yeah, so I'm working as a madam, but that's my cover. But Camille, a madam is somebody who's like an agent for prostitutes.
It's like a
It's like
lady
CAA for
Oh,
prostitutes.
you're the CAA of prostitutes?
Yeah.
I thought CAA was the CAA of prostitutes.
You know, in the movies when you run into a brothel and then there's like there's all of the
Yes.
sad, broken-hearted carnival.
There's
of
a
lost
woman
souls.
who's just turned 35.
Yeah,
She's
then
like,
there's
I'm
the
a madam.
the MILF who's 8 years younger than me.
But I am more a madam as a cover. I don't know how much I should say about my character, but she's fiercely anti-male, and the way that's
Shocker.
well, what? I mean, you're just saying that. That doesn't mean anything.
You can say shocker after almost anything. Try it tonight, kids, as you go home.
It's a button. I just.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's go
because
to Arby's.
She
Shocker.
watched her husband. She watched her husband, whom she loved when they got married, kill her son, and
But
so
wasn't
she
the-
has like an imbalanced hatred.
But the
towards
son
him.
is also male, so why is she a male hater?
Well, I mean, sometimes hatred doesn't make sense.
Right.
She's afraid of men, and now she's wanting to protect women. But God, she has this face.
She's got a great face.
She has a great face.
Right.
But it's not for you.
What do you mean? Why is it not for me?
I don't know. I'm spiraling. It's not for men.
Oh, if I can afford it, it's for me, right? Oh no, the madam
No,
doesn't.
because I am the agent.
Sorry, right.
I am the agent, but
You're the agent.
But the idea is that that she is making her money by employing magic using prostitutes who are convincing men that they're getting off when they're not really.
Oh, okay, got it.
But maybe not. But not exclusively.
being convinced that you got off is identical to getting off. Like I wouldn't even have a complaint.
Well,
I'd be like, thank
this
you.
is interesting. It's different in that the girl doesn't have to put a orc dick in her mouth.
Oh, that's
Like,
great for her. That's like when the hotel says we turn your lights off because the planet needs to be saved. Fine for you. Like I'm saying, like as a male customer, if you told me like, listen, sorry if you're on
No,
the,
exactly.
I wouldn't demand
Yes.
my money back. I'd be like,
No,
I
I
only
know.
thought I got the best blowjob
Right.
ever.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a thing. Except I think egos would get in the way where guys would be like, "Oh, I fucked the best girl last night," and someone's like, "You didn't actually." Like,
That's
you
the
just thought you
perfect
did.
scene to introduce your character, like in the movie version, where like there's a guy that's like that. It's like because then you can demonstrate how you lay down the law, like to protect these ladies.
Right.
That's
yeah.
what I like about the archetype of the hooker matron, who's like in a world where the government doesn't care about humanity. There's like a woman who's like a dead mother to these lost souls.
Yeah, it's like I'm like a mother hen but young.
And a great face.
And like hotter than all of them.
Hotter than all of
Yeah.
them. It's like, yeah, okay, got it.
So, Demorge, I don't know if you want to talk through, but I also have the write-up that I sent you, so I can read that, or you could do it.
I'll just wing it.
Just to
See
caution
what-
the
it.
audience.
Yeah, 'cause I know the character's
Just because of
name,
the
so.
bills we have to pay. George's character is basically the Noid from Pizza Hut. It's called branded content. There's no commercials during the podcast.
No,
and,
no.
like,
But I mean, Pizza Hut tastes so good.
It's just-
that we're okay, and it's very cheap.
and it's a real thing. I mean, it's a real thing to not want cold pizza.
Yeah, it's,
I can hear you guys.
yeah. Go ahead.
My character's name is Hodegard. I'm an elf.
You're a dwarf.
I'm a dwarf. I was just testing you. People don't know the difference these days. My mother was a dwarf. My father was a dwarf. They were both very smart and came to the United States as a science team. I do not have the most beautiful face, but I have reasonable looks. And for some reason, a characteristic of not aging. I was always a precognitive child. I was born a precog. That is to say that I can sense future events.
Oh, you're like Jeff.
There is a gelatin. Yes. Say that again.
Jeff.
Yes. There's a gelatin that floats in the sky that you cannot see or touch. But I can perceive it and perceive from it and draw from it such things as horrible accidents and crimes and misdemeanors, etc. My mother, sensing this would put me to some sort of persecution, built a precog bath in the basement. My father, being scared of this, ran away. She educated me in the ways of precognition, though she herself was not the precog, but she was a good reader and a great teacher. At a certain time, I was urged to leave and try to find employment. Children would laugh at me in school, and I did not do very well because of this, and so I took small jobs. I was very old, and I got a job as a busboy. I worked with the underground restaurants and bars. They did not know if I was a boy or a man. I was at this age a man, but they would say, hey.
How old were you?
At this point, I was some 26 years old. So, of course, this is 2074. Is that correct?
Sure.
Close enough.
Sure.
I worked making the most money under the table in cash with mafia and yakuza families, both in the nighttime working in the Little Italy section and in the evening working in a little Osaka. They had no problem spilling their information to me, so I learned a lot about the underground and how it works. You'd be very surprised to know that the underground is really the overground. Everything that works in front of you is moved by people you do not see. It is not called Shadowrun for no reason. You must think into opposites and you must be neither. Because I still have precognition, I like to go outside at night when the machines are humming and whirring and the night air is moist. It is there that the thoughts come to me. On one such night to go out, and the boss of my place in Little Italy is crying. He's smoking a cigarette and crying. I say, what is your problem? He says, you can go home. There will be no restaurant tomorrow. He does not explain. I go back to my studio apartment, which is not so much an apartment because there is no floor. There's only a tub of water in which I've built a precognition tub for myself. From this, I put on Opera Sauvage, a composition by Vangelis.
Tasty choice.
A precognition suit, such as Samantha Morton might wear to an event or a gala.
You
or
love
a
that
motion
Minority
picture.
Report.
I lay myself above and using the power of rear thought, suspend myself without a net over the water. And I saw an incident at which a man with a loaded pistol would come to him and shoot my boss's brains out. I waited for the vision of a woman with a wristwatch to walk by and focused on the wristwatch, got the time of day, knowing that it was night, And there is no 2:36 that PM that is at night. I sensed it was 2:36 a.m. I went to the cross streets and waited. And
What time was this at?
2:36 a.m.
What time did you get the vision?
I got the vision at 2:34, but this was the day before.
Oh, okay. So you had plenty of time to get there.
I had plenty of time to get there, but I had to get a weapon. I have to stuff the man with the weapon. I got the weapon from a Yakuza boss in Osaka. I then waited on the corner. When I recognized the man and I saw the woman with the watch, I raised the gun, I shot him in the head. I then had to go on the run, deep into the annals or anals of Little Italy, where I met a man who would become my father figure. His name was Geppetto 5.0, who outfitted me with silicon and cyber devices, arms.
I'm sorry. We just heard the cold open. That was just the. He's just now becoming. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
This is like,
Also,
this is the A-team, this is the opening narration.
at what point do you flee to Brazil
At what point?
as
do
a
you-
Nazi doctor? Because you sound like a Nazi doctor.
At what point do you launch an award-winning career as a documentary director?
Anyway, sorry.
If I were, I would do something like this and something differently. But anyway,
So
I have
you're
a
with Geppetto
cyber device attached to
5.0,
my-
sorry.
Excuse me, go ahead.
You're with Geppetto 5.0, continue.
Yes, and he just gives me a number of attachments and things and ways to better myself, including skill softs, which are programs that allow me to master certain tasks and things through a cranial implant. And with this, I can function for myself. But I cannot go back into that world, although I have all of this knowledge of how they operate. And so I run around in the shadows between streets and avenues and boulevards and byways, bartering with what I know to do best, and that is to sneak up and stop problems, sense problems, eliminate situations. Sometimes with weapons, otherwise with cunning and guile. I can occasionally step out into the light because everyone still thinks I'm a boy.
Wow.
Everyone still thinks I'm a boy.
Wow.
I guess if if David wants to tell us about his character, we'll just.
My name is Chrissy Tillamook. I am a 12-year-old LGBT transgender. I was born with 6 toes on each foot, but I now currently have 3 on each foot. And my father killed chickens with his mind. We would travel from small town to small town. Some people were enamored of that. Some people thought he had great power. Some people were scared of him and frightened. And as a result, we were constantly moving. We had a 1969 Dodge Dart. And one day, my mother and father were very much in love. He had sworn on their wedding day, they eloped, but it was still a wedding, and it was a day, so it was a wedding day, that he would never use his ability to kill chickens with his mind in any negative way towards her. Then one day, we were chased out of a town, Birmingham, Alabama, and he was drinking heavily, and he started what looked like the process of trying to kill my mom with his mind. And this upset me terribly. I went running out. My mom chased me, and she was killed by a hurrinado, which is as everyone knows, and after the year 2021, government, Obama was still in office and invented hurrinados, which is a combination of a hurricane and a tornado, and that was shortly before they revealed chemtrails are a real thing. They're not just a silly thing. And so my mom was killed. It was a horrifying thing for me to witness. As I looked behind I had 3 shoulders, and as I looked behind the middle one, I could see my dad running after, and the entire town of Birmingham, Alabama, he got swallowed into as they grabbed him and they pulled him, and he was like, Chrissy, and I could see it. He was scratching at the ground, and blood came from his nails as they went down to stubs as he was trying to claw his way to me, and I just knew it was fight or flight, and I decided I'm gonna flight, and I went to Birmingham International Airport, and I used all my remaining I had some fun bucks left over from a Chuck E. Cheese, and I turned them in. I got on a plane to 2032, which was the only time I could afford. And there when I got off the plane, I just did that classic Chrissy Tillman thing where I looked down, and the first sign I saw was for Davos, and I went, I'm your guy. And I got in the car and ended up at a Davos conference. Jenna Bush was speaking, and I managed to sneak into her hotel room in a way that I'd only seen in Hollow movies, which is a way that people watch movies in the future.
He got that right.
By being underneath the catering tray table, and then I snuck out and I assumed Jenna Bush's personality and her identification tron, and which was she didn't even put away. It was like it was in the closet. The closet was open. I just took Jenna Bush's.
She just left her identification tron.
Yes,
added
left
tron
it right there.
He just added tron.
Yeah, this shit is easy. And then and I remembered as I was climbing the antenna spire, I remembered, wait, my mother, her last dying thing as the Hurrinado was sucking her into the vortex, she threw the pills at me and said, should anything happen, take these pills. And I did, and then I went back in time to where we were a happy family, but I was always able to access everything post that. So not only am I currently with my happy family knowing what the future will bring, but I also concurrently run in the shadows because I fucking love that song.
Wow, what a character. I think that's the end of our show. I think we got.
Wait, I have my guy.
What's that? What?
I have a guy too.
Oh God! I'm sorry. Oh! Don't forget me saying I think that's the end of our show.
I'm just gonna read this, and that'll be the end of the show. My guy talks like me. I'm just gonna read what you sent. Is that okay?
That's
Is that
fine
what I
with
should
me,
do?
unless you have any, great ideas that have come up to the surface from these wonderful narrations.
Oh. Is there a hymnado?
When we looked at it, what we thought was,
It sounded like a herstory moment, but is there?
I don't know. I'll have to check with the ladies at Vassar and Sarah Lawrence, the feminist studies group, and see what they think.
Spencer, what is a Shadowrunner?
A Shadowrunner is basically like a member of the A-team. When people need their help and they can afford it, they get the A-team, And they do illegal stuff, they do cool things.
But they're usually good guys?
No, I mean, they're criminals, they could be murderers, assassins.
Okay.
They ride in a van and they have lunch boxes with their faces on them.
Yeah.
Typical mercenary.
I'm just going to read the paragraph. And then, Dr. Friend, that's my guy's name.
Unless you have a better name.
I don't think you can top Dr. Friend.
Dentist Frank.
Dentist Friend is the troll doctor. Dentist. A criminal/doctor whose practice is everywhere the core aren't. Dr. Friend. Huh?
Corpse. Like corpse corporations.
Oh.
Sorry, everybody.
Sorry. Dr. Friend is a troll doctor. I have to start over every time someone says something. A criminal
Do try periodontist.
Periodontist friend is a troll periodontist. A criminal / periodontist whose practice is everywhere. The corpse aren't. Periodontist friend has a magical mastery over medicine and the meta-human body. With a less than firm commitment to the Hippocratic Oath.
Nice. That was a little glib.
With a less than firm commitment.
All right, CW. I see what you mean.
Periodontist friend is bound to never harm anyone who hasn't harmed him first. Originally a corporate periodontist.
For fun, can you say endodontist?
Endodontist? What is that?
What is that?
It's root canals.
Just root canals?
Yeah, basically, it's nerves. Periodontist is gums, and endodontist is root
You sound
canals.
so drunk right now.
It's accurate.
It's basically
It's
nerves.
good, endodontist.
It's nerves. Roots, root canals, nerves.
Root.
Endodontist?
Endodontist.
Okay.
That's not. I mean, it's not important.
Oh no! I didn't mean to qualify that as it being important. It's not important. Say whatever you want. Sorry.
Oh.
Say periodontist.
Nope.
I thought we were giving requests like you were a DJ at a birthday party, and so I said endodontist.
Originally a corporate endodontist. One friend, that's me. That's me. When friend goblinized into a troll. Is goblin? Goblin is not a verb.
Goblinization is a thing that happens in the history of the Shadowrun milieu. People start to
Vampiric
turn
virus.
I turned from human into a troll.
Yeah, trolls just get turned into them from humans.
He was cast out of the corporation with extreme prejudice, forced to ply his trade in the streets. Despite this fall from grace, he only accepts payment from the moderately wealthy for his superior service, treating the poor and needy free of charge.
Oh.
Sounds like a good guy. Sounds like a friend. That's right. Is that all? That's all I need to say, right? Oh, I prefer not to fight, but when I must, I tend to favor non-lethal weapons such as a stun baton or gel, and shock rounds from my silenced submachine gun. That sounds like a very violent weapon. I use no weaponry other than this submachine gun.
I think like at a moment when someone would go like, "Oh, that's really nice that you take care of poor people for free." You say it in an alleyway just to that other person. You go, "The poor become the rich, and the rich are always dying. And there'll always be more poor."
Did you just come up with that quote?
Yeah.
That's really good.
Are you being sarcastic?
No.
Really?
It's really good.
I
It's
like.
like the blind guy in Minority Report.
Yeah,
which was
I don't know. I like
referenced
it. I like
think
it.
I might be a
Poor
little drunk.
become
I
the-
should be
yeah.
riffing like
it's
dialogue for you.
That was really good.
Thank you.
Doesn't the logic collapse under the poor become the rich?
I was thinking that too.
Doesn't that stop right there?
This is a fantasy world, David.
It's a weird world where if you're poor, you're safe, but you have teeth problems. And then only your ambition to become rich eventually kills you.
Yeah. I like that this is the least believable bit of this for you. The poor become the rich. Now I've heard everything.
Shadowrun's a fun game, but in terms of wealth distribution,
Yeah. A lot like our
I'm not
world.
sure I believe it.